You are in the middle of a conversation. Things were going great. And then, suddenly, nothing. The well is dry. Your brain is searching for words. Any words. And coming up completely empty, the silence stretches for what feels like an hour. But it has really only been 3 seconds.
And in those 3 seconds, you convince yourself that you are boring, that your English is not good enough, and that the other person is already planning their escape. Sound familiar?
Yeah, we have all been there. Today, we are fixing that.
Hey everyone, welcome back to English with a little more energy. I am Leo.
And I am Maya.
Last week we talked about how to introduce yourself and talk about who you are. Today, we are tackling the moment right after that.
Because here is the thing, knowing how to start a conversation is only half the battle. The other half is knowing how to keep it alive without making it feel like work.
Let us start by understanding why conversations actually die. Most learners think the problem is that they do not have enough vocabulary or that their English is not fast enough. But that is rarely the real issue. The real issue is that they treat conversation like a test, where every silence is a failure. That mindset makes you panic. And panic is the enemy of natural speech.
Exactly. When you panic, you do one of two things. You either blurt out something random just to fill the air, like so. Nice weather? Or you go completely silent and wait for the other person to save you. Both of these reactions come from the same place, fear of the silence.
So let us reframe silence first. Silence in a conversation is not a failure. It is a breath. Native speakers have silences too. The difference is that they do not panic during them. They use them. A pause lets the previous idea land. It creates rhythm. A conversation without any pauses feels rushed and exhausting.
I love that image. A conversation without pauses is like a song without rests. It just becomes noise. So the first thing to learn is how to be okay with a short silence. Take a breath. Look at the other person. Smile slightly. It is so much better than rushing to fill the gap with something meaningless.
Now, the second reason conversations die is that learners ask questions that have nowhere to go. The answer is yes or no, dead end. Yes or no, dead end. Every dead end question is a chance for the conversation to stop. And when you are already nervous, one dead end is all it takes.
The fix is to ask open questions, questions that start with what, how, why, or tell me about. These questions hand the other person an open stage. They can take the answer anywhere they want, and that is where real conversations start.
Let us do a quick role play. Maya, you are at a friend's barbecue. You do not know anyone, and you have just been introduced to someone named, let us say, Sam.
Hey, nice to meet you. So, how do you know the host?
Oh, we used to work together like 5 years ago. We have stayed close ever since. How about you?
We met at a yoga class actually. I am terrible at it, but she has been very patient with me.
And there you go. That single exchange could go in 10 different directions. Yoga patience, how long they have known the host, work history. None of those are dead ends. That is the power of an open question.
The third reason conversations die is that learners try to be interesting instead of being interested. They put pressure on themselves to say something clever. But the secret is that people do not remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel. And the easiest way to make someone feel good in a conversation is to be genuinely curious about them.
That is a really important point. When you shift your attention from what do I say next to what can I learn from this person, the pressure disappears. You become a listener instead of a performer. And listeners are actually rare and more valuable than talkers. Most people are just waiting for their turn to speak.
Quick recap of this segment. Silence is not the enemy, so do not panic when it shows up. Ask open questions instead of yes no questions, and focus on being interested, not on being interesting. Those three mindset shifts alone will transform your conversations.
And honestly, those mindset shifts are the hardest part. The phrases we will teach you in the next segments are easy. Believing that silence is okay, that is the real work. So if you only remember one thing from today, remember that a 3-second pause is not a failure. It is just a breath.
Okay, so now you are standing there. You have made peace with silence. You are ready to be interested. But what do you actually ask about? This is where the Ford technique comes in. It is an old classic, and it works because it gives you 4 safe, reliable topics that almost anyone can talk about.
FORD stands for family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. 4 categories, 4 buckets of questions you can dip into whenever the conversation stalls. You do not have to use all 4 every time. Just having them in your back pocket means you will never be completely stuck.
Let us break each one down. F is for family. Be careful here, especially in English speaking cultures right away. Instead, try softer versions.
That is a key point. The goal is not to extract information, it is to open a door. If they want to walk through it, great. If they give a short answer and move on, that is fine too.
O is for occupation. This is the easiest one because work is universal.
And once they tell you what they do not just nod and move on. That is the moment to dig in. Oh, that sounds intense. The follow up is where the conversation actually lives.
R is for recreation, hobbies, interests, what they do for fun. This is often the most fun category because people light up when they talk about things they choose to do. All of these are gold.
Recreation is also the easiest category to find common ground. If they mention a hobby you also enjoy, instant connection. Oh, I love hiking too. And if they mention something you have never tried, even better. I have always wanted to try that.
And finally, D is for dreams. This is the deepest category and you have to earn it. That is weird at a first meeting. But once you have established some rapport, you can go there.
Nobody remembers the weather small talk. Everybody remembers the conversation where they got to talk about their dream of opening a bakery in Portugal.
Let us roleplay this, Leo. You are at a wedding. You are sitting next to someone you do not know. Use Ford to keep the conversation going.
All right, so how do you know the couple getting married?
I went to university with Sarah. We have been friends for about 10 years now. You?
I work with Mark, the groom. We have been on the same team for 2 years. So you are a uni friend. Are you still based in the same city as Sarah?
No. I moved to Edinburgh a few years ago for work. She stayed in London. but we try to see each other every couple of months. What about you? Are you a Londoner?
Born and raised. I cannot imagine living anywhere else. Honestly, what do you do up in Edinburgh, if you do not mind me asking?
I am a speech therapist, mostly working with kids. It is exhausting, but I love it. What keeps you busy when you are not at work?
I am really into climbing lately. Indoor stuff. Mostly. It is the only thing that stops my brain from spinning after a long day.
And right there, in about 90 seconds, Leo touched on family, occupation, and recreation. Nothing feels like an interview.
That is the beauty of Ford. It is a safety net. When you do not know what to say next, you mentally run through the letters F, O, R, D. One of them will give you a thread to pull.
And here is a pro tip: you do not have to go in order. Some conversations naturally start with recreation, like at a sports event. Read the room, pick the most natural category, and start there.
So to recap this segment, Ford gives you 4 evergreen topics. Use soft versions of the questions. Dig in with follow-ups. And remember that D, dreams, is where shallow small talk becomes real connection. Now we get to the skill that separates good conversationalists from great ones. The follow-up question. Most learners ask a question, get an answer, and then jump to a new topic. That is a mistake. Every answer is full of hooks, little details you can pull on to go deeper.
Let me give you an example. The curious response is, no way, and suddenly you have opened a whole path.
Notice what Maya just did. She heard Japan, and instead of reacting with a generic comment, she asked a specific question that required a real answer. That is the whole skill, hearing the detail and asking about it.
Here is the thing: people give you hooks all the time without realizing it. Hook, hook, hook.
Let us give people a toolkit of follow-up phrases. Is one of the most underrated questions in English. It works after almost anything. It is open, it is curious, and it invites a real answer.
Is another great one. It asks for the story behind the fact. Oh, interesting. Now you are going to hear about the moment they decided. The fear, the leap. That is the good stuff.
It's perfect for decisions. Someone says they are starting something unusual or moving somewhere unexpected. It shows you are paying attention, and it lets them explain themselves, which most people love to do.
Tell me more about that is the simplest and most powerful follow-up in the language. It works after literally anything. They will go on for 10 minutes if you let them.
Let us role play this. Maya, you are telling me about your weekend.
So I went to this pottery class on Saturday. It was a complete disaster.
Wait, a disaster. What happened?
I made the world's lopsided bowl. The teacher was very kind about it, but I think we both knew I am not destined for pottery greatness.
That is amazing. What made you sign up for pottery in the first place?
Honestly, I just wanted to do something with my hands. I am on screens all day for work, and I needed a break.
And there you go. That is a real conversation. Now, work stress, screen time, hobbies that do not involve technology, the philosophy of doing things badly just for fun.
And notice that Leo did not ask a single clever question. He just reacted naturally. The skill is not in asking brilliant questions. It is in actually listening and being curious.
One mistake To avoid, do not interrogate. If you ask question after question after question, the other person will feel like they are in a job interview. The trick is to mix your questions with small reactions, those little bits of empathy, if the conversation breathing room.
Yes. A conversation is a dance, not an interview. You ask, you react. You share a tiny bit of your own experience. You ask again. That rhythm is what makes it feel natural. Pure questions feel like an interrogation. Pure reactions feel like you have nothing to say. You need both.
Here is a useful rule of thumb. For every answer the other person gives, try to find one specific hook to follow up on. If they say, I went to a wedding in Spain, the hook's a wedding and Spain. Pick one. Oh, a Spanish wedding. Or Spain. I am jealous. Do not try to follow every hook. Just pick the most interesting one and pull on it.
And if you cannot find a hook, you can always go back to the magic question. It is the conversational equivalent of a wild card. It works every time.
So to recap this segment, the follow-up question is the most important skill in conversation. Listen for hooks in every answer. Mix questions with reactions so it does not feel like an interrogation. And always go deeper, not wider. One good thread is worth more than 5 surface-level topic jumps.
Now, let us talk about the smallest words in the language and how they are doing some of the heaviest lifting in any conversation. I am talking about the little sounds and short phrases that show you are listening. Right? Oh, wow, no way. Seriously, without them, even the best questions fall flat.
This is something learners often miss completely. They are so focused on what to say next that they forget to react to what is being said right now. And the result is that they look like they are not interested, even when they are. Native speakers use these signals constantly, sometimes every few seconds. They are the oil that keeps the conversational engine running.
Let us break them down. There are 3 types. First, the continuous sounds. Yeah? Uh-huh. These are the little nods you give while the other person is talking. They do not interrupt, they just say, I am here, keep going. In English, you do these more often than you might think.
Second, the surprise signals. Oh, wow, no way. Seriously, you are kidding. These show that something the person said landed. They make the speaker feel like what they are saying is interesting, which makes them want to keep talking. It is a tiny bit of emotional feedback that costs you nothing to give.
Third, the empathy signals. Oh no, that is rough. I totally get that. Ugh, I feel you. These show that you are not just hearing the words. You are feeling the emotion behind them. When someone tells you about a bad day at work, oh no, that sounds awful, is so much better than silence. It tells them they are not alone.
Let us roleplay the difference. Maya, tell me about something annoying that happened to you recently, and I will do it wrong first, then right.
Okay, so I was on the bus this morning, and the guy next to me was watching a video on full volume. No headphones, just blasting it. For 40 minutes.
Oh, that is too bad. Anyway, what are you doing this weekend?
And there it is. The cold pivot. No empathy, no reaction, just straight to a new topic. It feels like you did not hear me at all. Let us try again.
Okay, hit me.
So, I was on the bus this morning, and the guy next to me was watching a video on full volume. No headphones, just blasting it for 40 minutes.
No way. 40 minutes. What was he even watching?
I have no idea. I tried to ignore it, but it was impossible. By the end, I was ready to lose my mind.
I feel you. That is the worst. Did you say anything to him?
See the difference? Same story, completely different energy. In the second version, Leo gave me surprise, empathy, and a follow up question. I feel heard. In the first version, I feel like I am talking to a wall.
And the great thing about these signals is that they are incredibly easy to learn. You do not need a big vocabulary, you just need a handful of short phrases and the habit of using them.
Here is a small risk though. If you overuse them, they sound fake. The trick is to vary them and to actually mean them. Do not say no way if you are not surprised. People can smell fake reactions.
That is a really important point. The signals only work if they are genuine. You can practice the words, but the energy has to be real. One authentic oh no is worth more than 10 fake. MERS.
Let us also talk about body language. Even though this is a podcast, when you are listening, lean in slightly. Make eye contact, nod. These nonverbal signals are just as important as the verbal ones, and they are universal. You already know how to do them in your first language. Just do not forget to do them in English too.
And one more thing, on video calls, you have to be more deliberate with your signals. The other person cannot see your whole body, so exaggerate slightly. Nod a bit more, say, yeah, out loud a bit more often.
So, to recap this segment, active listening signals are the small words and sounds that show you are paying attention. Use continuous sounds like and yeah, while the other person talks. Use surprise signals like no way and oh wow when something lands. Use empathy signals like I get that when they share something emotional, very them, mean them. And do not forget your body language. Small words, huge impact.
Now we get to a concept that sounds simple but changes everything. The 1-to-1 ratio. For every question you ask, you should share something about yourself. For every story they tell, you should be ready to tell one back. Conversation is a two-way street, and if you are only asking questions, you become an interviewer. If you are only talking about yourself, you become a monologuer. Neither one is a conversation.
This is the mistake I see most often with learners. They are so worried about being polite that they only ask questions and never share. The other person ends up doing all the talking, and they start to feel like they are being interviewed. The conversation feels one sided, even though the learner was trying to be considerate.
On the flip side, some learners get nervous and overcompensate by talking too much about themselves. They fill every silence with a personal story. The other person cannot get a word in, and eventually they stop trying. That is just as bad, just in the opposite direction.
The sweet spot is the 1-to-1 ratio. You ask, they answer, you react, you share a short related story of your own. Then you ask a follow up. That rhythm, question, reaction, share, follow up, is what makes a conversation feel balanced and natural.
Let me give you an example. Someone says they just got back from a hiking trip. The interviewer response is, where did you go? How long was the trail? Was it hard? Three questions in a row. No sharing, The monologuer response is, "Oh, I love hiking. I went to Patagonia last year and it was incredible. The mountains were so beautiful, and we camped for 5 days and 5 minutes of talking about yourself."
The balanced response is something like, "Oh, nice. Where did you go?" They answer. You say, "That sounds amazing. I did a similar trip a couple of years ago, but I was so sore for 3 days after." Did you camp or stay in cabins? You shared a tiny bit, then asked a follow up.
Let us roleplay this. Maya, you tell me about something, and I will try to keep the ratio.
So I tried bouldering for the first time last week. My arms are still complaining.
Oh, nice. How did it go? Did you make it up the wall?
Some of the easier ones. Yes, but anything with an overhang, forget it. I just hung there like a sad sweater.
That is so relatable. I tried climbing once, and my forearms were useless for 2 days. I could not even open a jar. Are you going to go back?
Definitely. I am hooked. Tea here is something addictive about it.
And there it is. I asked a question. She answered. I shared a tiny story. Then I asked another question. The conversation never tipped too far in either direction. That is the ratio in action.
Now, you do not have to be perfect about this. You are not counting. But if you notice that you have asked 3 questions in a row without sharing anything, that is a sign to offer something of yourself. And if you have been talking for 2 minutes straight, that is a sign to stop and ask them something.
The other benefit of sharing is that it gives the other person permission to do the same. When you open up about something, even something small, it signals we are in this together. This is a real conversation, not just polite small talk.
A good rule of thumb is to share at the same depth the other person is sharing. If they tell you about a minor inconvenience at work, do not respond with a deep personal confession. Match the level. If they go deep, you can go deep. If they stay light, you stay light.
And here is a phrase that helps a lot. "I know what you mean," or "I have been there." These phrases are little bridges. They acknowledge the other person's experience and they invite you to share your own version of it. "I know what you mean. I had a similar thing happen last month." Boom, you are sharing without making it about you.
Another one that reminds me of it is a smooth way to introduce a related story without changing the subject. Now you have added to the conversation, not redirected it.
So to recap this segment, aim for a 1-to-1 ratio of asking and telling. Do not just ask questions. You will feel like an interviewer. Do not just talk about yourself. You will feel like a monologuer. Share small related stories to keep the balance. Use bridge phrases like, "I know what you mean," to introduce your own story smoothly.
So we have spent this whole episode talking about how to keep a conversation going. But here is the truth that nobody tells you. Not every conversation should be kept alive. Knowing how to end one gracefully is just as important as knowing how to keep one going.
This is huge. So many learners panic when a conversation naturally winds down because they think they have failed. But a conversation ending is not a failure. It is just a conversation ending. People have to go to the bathroom, get another drink, catch their train. Ending well is a skill that learners almost never practice.
Let us talk about the signals that a conversation is winding down. The other person starts giving shorter answers. Their body language shifts. They start looking around the room. They say things like, anyway, or well at the start of their sentences. These are all subtle signs that they are ready to wrap up. If you notice them, do not fight them. Help the conversation land.
The graceful exit has three parts: acknowledge, appreciate, and pivot. Acknowledge that the conversation is ending. Appreciate the person you have been talking to. Pivot to whatever's next, for them or for you.
Let us give you some phrases for acknowledging. Well, I should let you go is a classic. I will not keep you is another one. It has been really nice talking to you is the most direct. Any of these signal we are wrapping up now without being rude.
For appreciating, I really enjoyed hearing about your trip. Or, it was great meeting you. Or, I am glad we got to chat. These show that the conversation was not just filler. It meant something.
For pivoting, you can either refer to yourself or to them. I am going to grab another drink refers to you. I am sure you have got people to talk to refers to them. Either way, you are giving the conversation a clear, polite ending.
Let us role play. Maya, we have been talking for a while, and I am ready to wrap up.
So, yeah, that is basically the whole story of how I ended up adopting my cat.
Oh, that is amazing. Well, I should let you go. It was really great hearing about. Well, all of that, I am going to grab another drink. But I am sure I will see you around later.
Yeah, definitely enjoy the rest of the party and good luck with, everything.
Thanks. Take care.
And there it is. Clean, warm, no awkward trailing off. The conversation ended with both people feeling good. Compare that to the alternative, where you both just stand there smiling and saying, Sue, until someone finally escapes.
One thing to avoid: do not over explain your exit. I have to go because my friend is waiting for me and she has been texting me, and I told her I would only be 5 minutes, and that is too much. You do not owe anyone a detailed excuse. A simple "I should get going" is enough. Trust me.
And do not apologize for leaving. I am so sorry. I have to go makes it weird. You did not do anything wrong. I should get going. It was great talking to you is confident and polite. Big difference.
What if you want to stay in touch? This is the moment to do it. I really enjoy talking to you. Do you have Instagram? Or if you ever want to grab coffee, let me know. Simple, direct, low pressure.
And if you are at a networking event, the exchange of LinkedIn connections happens here. It was great meeting you. Can I connect with you on LinkedIn? That is the professional version.
Let us also talk about the escape hatch. What if the conversation is truly painful and you need to get out now? You can use the same structure, just faster. Oh, I just spotted my friend. I have to go say hi. It was nice meeting you, and you are gone.
Or the classic bathroom escape. I am going to run to the restroom, but it was great talking to you, universal, unchallengeable.
The key insight here is that ending a conversation is a kindness, not a rejection. You are freeing both of you to do something else. A clean ending leaves a better impression than a conversation that dragged on too long.
So to recap this segment, watch for the signals that a conversation is winding down. Use the three-part structure. Acknowledge, appreciate, pivot. Do not over-explain. Do not apologize. If you want to stay in touch, ask now. And remember that ending well is a skill, not a failure. A graceful exit leaves people wanting more, which is exactly what you want.
Now we are going to put everything together. A full conversation from hello to goodbye. Using every technique we have covered. Silence, tolerance, open questions, forward follow-ups, active listening, the one-to-one ratio, and a graceful exit. Listen for how it all fits together.
I will start. Imagine we are at a community language exchange event. We have just been introduced by the host. Leo, you go first.
Hey, nice to meet you. So, what brings you to a language exchange? Are you learning something specific? Or just here for the chaos?
Honestly, a bit of both. I am trying to improve my French. It has been years since I studied it, and I am tired of being that person who can only say bonjour and merci. What about you?
Same energy. I'm working on my Spanish. I have a trip coming up, and I do not want to be the tourist who just points at things.
Oh, nice! Where are you headed?
Colombia, I have wanted to go for years. What made you pick French? Of all languages?
My grandmother is French. She is 92 and still does not really speak English. So if I want to have a real conversation with her, I figured I should learn.
That is beautiful. What is that being like? Learning it as an adult.
Humbling. Honestly, I thought I would pick it up fast since I heard it as a kid. But no, my brain just refuses. How is the Spanish going for you?
Slowly. I can order food and ask where the bathroom is, which is honestly all you need for survival. But real conversations, not yet. What does your grandmother think about you learning?
She thinks it is hilarious. She corrects my pronunciation like a tiny, ruthless professor. What are you most excited about for Colombia?
The food, 100%. I have been watching food vloggers about Bogota for months. Are you a food person or more of a sights person when you travel?
Food, absolutely. I once planned an entire trip to Italy just around where I was going to eat.
That is the only way to travel. Honestly. Well, I should let you go. Mingo, it was really great talking to you. If you ever want to practice French, Spanish swaps, I am around Maud most weeks.
Oh, that would be great. Same time next week. Maybe?
Sounds perfect. Take care. Notice that nothing was forced. We did not use any fancy vocabulary. We were just two people being curious about each other. That is the whole secret. The techniques we have taught today are not about tricking people into thinking you are interesting. They are about removing the obstacles that prevent you from being present.
If you want to practice, try listening to this role play a few times and then doing it out loud yourself, playing both parts. You will start to internalize the rhythm. And the next time you are in a real conversation, those phrases will just come out naturally.
And remember, every conversation is different. Some will flow easily, some will be a bit of work. The goal is not to have a perfect conversation every time. The goal is to have real ones. Okay, time for the recap. Here are 10 phrases from today's episode that you can start using right away.
Number 1, what was that like? The ultimate follow-up question works after almost anything.
Number 2, tell me more about that. The wild card. Use it when you cannot think of a specific question, but you want them to keep going.
Number 3, how did that come about? Perfect for asking about the story behind a decision or a change.
Number 4. No way. The simplest surprise signal in English. Use it generously when someone shares something.
Number 5. I know what you mean. The empathy bridge acknowledges their experience and invites you to share your own.
Number 6. That reminds me of. The smooth way to introduce your own story without changing the subject.
Number 7. What keeps you busy during the week? A fresher, softer version of what do you do?
Number 8. What are you most excited about? Perfect for the dreams category in Ford. Works for trips, projects, anything.
Number 9. Well, I should let you go. The classic graceful exit. Polite, clear, no over explaining.
Number 10. It was really great talking to you. The appreciation line. Always end on this. People remember it.
Pick 2 or 3 of these to practice this week. Use them in real conversations. The more you use them, the more natural they will feel.
And remember, these phrases are tools, not scripts. Do not try to use all 10 in one conversation. Just have them ready for when the moment is right. That is it for today's episode of English Zing. If you want more, hit subscribe so you do not miss next week's episode, where we will be talking about how to tell a story in English that keeps people listening. Because keeping a conversation going is one thing, but telling a story that makes people lean in, that is a whole other skill.
And if you want to practice what we covered today, try having a 5-minute conversation in English with a friend, a language partner, or even yourself in the mirror. Use 1 forward topic, 2 follow-up questions, and 1 graceful exit. That is your homework for the week.
You can also find us on Instagram and YouTube, where we post extra tips and mini lessons every week. Drop a comment with your go-to question when a conversation stalls. We read every single one, and we might even feature yours in a future episode.
And remember, conversations are not tests, they are dances. Sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow, sometimes you step on each other's feet. That is part of it. The goal is not perfection, it is connection. Show up, be curious, and the words will come. See you next time.
See you next time. This has been English Zing. Keep talking.